Damn wife. Sound all right? Should be. I usually don't change it. It always seems to be okay. What's up, John? Sound okay? Okay. Right before I went to start the live stream, I got this because I don't really use this is my laptop. I don't really use it much at all except for just doing these. And it said something like, it's time to restart to update something. And it's like restart in an hour or restart like right now. I was like, well, shit, I can't restart it now. So and it wouldn't let me just like X out of it or anything. So I clicked wait an hour. So I think we're out to make sure we're done with the raffle by 10. Or the waffle, just in case it shuts off or does something all by itself. I don't know if it'll give me like another prompt saying that, to either extend it or if it's just going to do it automatically. I don't know. So we'll just make sure we're done with the waffle part by 10 o'clock and we should be good. What's everyone been up to? Not working. Kind of figured on doing like all day. I kind of figured on doing a raffle or the waffle today. Been trying to decide on how many I want to pull because there's like 170 spots. So I was thinking maybe 50, pull 50. So the 50th one out will be the winner of the kit. We'll wait a couple more minutes, see if some more guys come on. Well, there's 14 people on. I don't know if it's 14 people that got their name in the bowl here or not, but they would do it like normal. We'll just mix it up, pull a name, and yeah, I'm just gonna pull 50. 50th one out will be the one that wins. So big thanks to Jeff from Factory Works for donating the kit to the forum. That was pretty cool of him. Yeah, I mean, I know there was like talks of, like 3 races. And then Jason had said something to me about maybe just doing like one big race. But I had, he was on a live stream with Lefty and Alex Sturgeon Thursday. And I had asked if there was any other, news about what was going on. And, so then he said something about what tracks that it was going to be. And, as soon as he said Adrenaline, I was like, sweet, because it's only like a 3.5 hour drive for me. And I had, every time we've gone to, or every time I've gone to Adrenaline and looked at the outdoor track and be like, that'd be a good place to have a 10 scale race. And it's a good facility in case there's a washout over the weekend. You can still run indoors. So, Adrenaline is really good in that respect also. So, yeah, because it was kind of sounding like there was definitely going to be one in Georgia. And I was kind of, I don't know if I would make that one. But yeah, as soon as I saw Adrenaline, I was like, sweet. Or when Jason said Adrenaline, I was like, sweet. So, and I think it was at the end of May. So, we'll have Roosepalooza at the end of April, beginning of May. And when did we have was it July? I think it was July that we had it was June. When did we run the vintage shootout? Was it June? Like the 3rd week of June, I think. So it'll fall in between those two for me. So, that's a +2. I already kind of figured on this coming year, I got to scale back, at least the travel stuff. It's just too much financially for me, with, rental cars and Airbnbs and, $200 entry fees and, especially everything with my wife's cancer stuff, this year and the end of last year. It's just, I need like a rebuilding year, honestly. So I kind of figured, well, I'll do the 3 insanity races and the vintage Nats. And that's all I was planning on doing, other than, like I run some dirt oval stuff local. But then, this popped up and I was kind of hoping there'd be one, that I could do, close enough. So I think Adrenaline's doable. So that'd be cool. And then it's just a matter of, what car do I want to run there? Obviously, I'll probably just run my 10T. I don't have a T2. I got my mid motor T2, but I don't want to convert it to rear motor. So I'll just run my 10T and it'd be probably some kind of some world's car, most likely. I don't think I'll run like the Masami car or anything, because I guess the year's the 89 and 93. So I don't I don't know. I might have another car done. Because I was planning, I was going to try and build another new World's car, not for this vintage Nats or this coming vintage Nats, but for next. But if I'm able to get it done by May, I kind of doubt it with how I am. But I'll figure something out. If I have to, I'll just run my kid's World's car. So then that's ready to go. So, all right. We'll just start drawing some names. And I said, for anyone that wasn't here before, I was going to draw 50. And the last one out is going to win a kit. So thanks again to Jeff for donating the kit. And thanks everyone for donating to the board. Every little bit helps. And I like, I'm excited that it's outdoor because I do like racing outdoor. Like I love running at pit stop, but they started using vegetable oil on the track for grip and stuff. So it's like now they're basically on slicks outdoor, and I'm just not into it. So I'll probably won't bother going down there anymore. So that's unfortunate. So at this point, the only thing I got close is Critters, or Insanity, and they're both like an hour and a half away. So I got two dirt ovals I can run at. Actually, I probably have 3 dirt ovals that I can race at within like an hour drive. So I have a feeling I see more oval racing back in my future pretty soon. It also sucks my fingers are numb half the time anymore, so I can't tell how many I'm grabbing. It's Todd. I remember to start putting the strikes down. I think there's another, so Adrenaline and the one in Georgia and one in Florida. I think it'll be good. Pray for nice weather for all of them. Franken truck. No one wants to chat tonight. Usually everyone's a bunch of chatty Cathys. Oh. I can't feel it. Move the bowl so you can see what I'm doing. No shenanigans. Is that one? There we go. Garage hack. We're going to draw 50. So 50th one out is going to win the kit. Because there was 170. So as I said earlier, I was debating on how many I wanted to pull, and I was like, well, there's quite a bit. And, it really doesn't take all that long to go through like 20 of them. So I was like, let's do 50. And I kind of think the last one we went through, or we did like a pretty big number also. But 75. And I was even a couple weeks ago, I had said something to Joe and Mark about wanting to go I wanted to get my 89 the stealth card built and get it done. And was it back to back? I wanted to get my 89 Masami card built, but there's really nowhere to. Well, you got more than two, so you never know. I think you got more than two. The list is folded up, so I don't want to unfold it. What was it saying? Oh, I had said something about wanting to go to Joe and Mark about going to Adrenaline, getting the Masami card built, because there really nowhere to really test it, and kind of work on it. There's two of them. So I thought, it'd be cool just to go to Tool. I'd like to go down and leave early on a Saturday and drive down and get there when they open and just spend the whole day Saturday just kind of working on that car on the indoor track. Not because I want to have it ready for vintage nats or anything, because I'm not racing it at vintage nats, but just so I can work on it and try and get a setup for it. Because I probably would have run that at how's your ass been? I probably would have run that at pit stop. The sanity is a little too coarse. I don't really want to beat it up too much. I almost don't even really want to use it. I was kind of thinking, if I can get one of the carbon chassis, there's not a set, just a chassis, and get the bulkhead and the arm mounts, and just put it together, build it up maybe if I was running the car at the Worlds in '89, how would I have built it? Again, but we'll see. It's I got how many cars? It's at some you don't gotta run them all, but we'll see. And anyone that wasn't here early on, my computer did I don't use this is my laptop, so I don't use it much other than just to do this. So right before I went live, it went to it wanted to do an update. So it's restart your computer, and it's either do it now or in an hour. So I was and it was already 5 after 9 because my wife was finishing doing some. I don't know, from Dual. She's doing some laundry over here, and pen's dying. Do I have another pen? A pen that works. There we go. All right. I guess that one's done. Yeah, now I remember what I was saying again. Typical for me. So that's 10 out. Speed. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Was it The nylon one, or like the kit one, or the machine one. But yeah, I was thinking about just getting the carbon chassis. I'd really rather have the carbon chassis. I thought if I can get that and then get the machine parts and just put the car together and just be done with it. Not worry about running it or anything. Because I don't know. I don't really see me racing it anywhere. Not anytime soon. There's two of them. Let's ghost. No, so I figured we'll just get the waffle part done, and as long as we're done by 10, we should be good. And then if we keep going and we're just shooting the shit, and the stream goes down, you know why. But at least the waffle part will be done. I'd hate to have something happen in the middle of that, because I don't know if it'll give me another prompt saying, that I can wait another or push it off another hour. I'd probably be farther on. Back to back. Todd has a lot of them in there. Clavy, he has a lot in there. He probably could have just bought his own kit. But and I even said that to him. He's like, yeah, but that's not helping the board out. So big shout out to Todd for this one. Damn it. I can't feel. T-Sol 78. But on mine, I got the I'd probably be a little farther along on mine, but I wanted to open the hinge pin area or the hub carrier area on the arms, on outer rear arms. So I could move the hub forward and back like a B2. So I took them off and gave them to Joe. So whenever he gets to them, I'm not in any area. So basically, just take off like a 16th on either side. So you either put an eighth in the front, eighth in the back, or spacer front to back, or 2/16 to keep it centered. But another little tuning, another little tuning thing. I know when I was trying to get my B2 dialed in, I didn't mess with that. I kept messing with all other kinds of things. So when I moved the hubs back, I was like, oh, that car came to life. So going for dual. So I just want to have, there's nothing wrong with having, putting adjustability in the car, whether you use it or not. But I mean, you can go a little overboard. But yeah, I put the 10 resto. I put the 1.5 hubs on it in the back, and it comes with the 25-degree caster blocks. So did I put them on? I have 30s I was going to put on, but they're kind of yellow compared to everything else. So I'm either going to wait for some originals to come along so they match the arms a little bit better, or just diamond one. or just not worry about it. And so Pete, I pulled your name once, I think, already. So it's not necessarily a good thing, but just letting you know. I don't know when you hopped on. Oops. Yeah, and other than that, I think I moved the ball studs in the back. So I got to get some longer manfish mat. I got to get some longer turnbuckles for the back. I need to get some fan RC ball cups for it. Because those kit ones are like ABS and like, I don't know, I freaking hate them. And I know they break easy because I've heard it and seen it, especially if it's cold. Freaking truck. That's 20. What else can I do? Yeah, I was going to put 30-degree catch blocks in the front, the 1.5 hubs to get the 3 degrees in the back, moving the ball studs in to get the longer links in the back, and mill the open the arms so I can move the hub forward and back. I think that's about all I was going to do with that. Man, fish mat again. But I'm not going to make it to the North Carolina race. I kind of pretty much knew that's what was going to happen, or that was not going to happen. And I kind of said, it's Todd again. I had said to Mark and Joe, like November 1st, I was like, if I'm not in a good spot by December 1st, I'm done. I'm not even going to bother. And December 1st came. I was like, forget it. And then, now my we found out at the end of November, or like right before Thanksgiving, that my dog has cancer. So I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. So I don't want to be in North Carolina if something happens. So because he's probably not going to be around or be with us a whole lot longer. Aaron. I know someone's was it Tim Tunnerman designed some printed ones with like 0, 1, 5, and 3 arm mounts. I think he was just, I don't know if he was offering the parts themselves or just like the file for others to make them. But I know for me, there's no way I'm running printed arm mounts. It's not happening for me. So those 1.5 arm mounts are fine. I got 1.5 hubs. I'll put those on, and that's where I'll get my 3 degrees out of project until someone either machines them or molds them. Yeah, I'm not running printed mounts. There's a lot of leverage on those arms. You know, they're longer arms to begin with. You know, like there's a project Nick DeVito and I are working on. I mean, he's doing most of the work. Let's face it. But the front bulkhead's printed. That's like I don't really, I don't really know if I like the fact that it has a printed bulkhead, but you know, it is at this point. It's kind of just like in a prototype kind of stage. So, I mean, I would try it, and if it breaks, it breaks. But you always have that, you know, kind of the thought in your head that you need to kind of take it a little bit easy. And I don't really like taking it easy. Travis. I mean, the arm mount, the stock arm mount, the one that comes in a kit, I'm pretty sure that's 1.5. You know, it's not like it's 0 degree toe. It has some, but just not enough. And I'm sure if they modeled the parts from the original, you know, they had a 1.5 hub back then too. So I haven't seen like a good picture of Masami's car that shows the left hub to see if it has the L molded in it. But I could see them modeling the arm mounts and copying those, and if they're 1.5, that's fine. But all the Riri hubs are 0 degree, you know, so you know you're not going to be able to get your 3 degrees out of it. So that's why, like, I don't have, and I have some white ones, but they're kind of dingy, and I don't want to put them on a brand new car. So I had some new black ones. I put a pair of black 1.5s on my car for now. So I'm going to look for some original white ones, 1.5s, and some original 30-degree Kasher blocks. I'd have to look at it again. I mean, it's possible that they didn't. I kind of find it harder to believe that they were only be running 1.5 degrees in that, because they were already, you know, they already had like 3-degree arm mounts for the RC10 by then, or at least like machined ones. You can see, like, if you look at a lot of the cars from like '88, and some from '89, I think I really have to think about that, but definitely like '88. You can see that the arm mounts are machined. They're not the molded pieces. So I think that was kind of the beginning of like the 3-degree molded arm mounts. And come to think of it, I think I remember seeing, I think it was a picture of Cliff Lett's car. And I think it even had like 3, you know, with a Sharpie or something on it. But you can tell it was a machined part, not an injected one. Back to back, I think, or Stan Resto. All right, that's 30. In case you just got here, we're going to pull 50 of them. So we're at 30 right now. Oh, there's thumbs. I'm trying to remember what Jay was talking about, like when they first unveiled the Bud 75. When they first introduced the kit, I remember Jay. I don't remember exactly what Jay was talking about or how he said it about. I remember if the car had like a shitload of steering, and they were trying to put push in it, or vice versa. I was almost wondering if they were trying to get steering in it. Yeah, I guess you could kind of see. I guess you could kind of see maybe using just 1.5R mounts. I really don't think it'd be 0 degree. I'd have to look at that again. Or think about that again too. Again. Yeah, I mean, being as though, and they even said it in like the videos that they made it with the aluminum chassis to be erased. So why don't you make it a little more tunable? I guess. Yeah, I mean, I could, and like Masami's car, if you look at his actual car, you can see where dot again. You can see where, or that he has the ball studs on the inside on the bulkhead, and the kit just has it like the ball studs under the wing tubes. So I can understand him going that route, because that way you wouldn't have to mess with the motor plate and stuff. Milling the motor plate out, or cutting it out for room for the ball studs and stuff and the ball cups. So I could kind of get that. When I built that one for Daniel, I was looking at it, and I was like, man, this thing really reminds me of a B2. And it's been said, Todd, another back-to-back for Todd. I'm going to start sneezing here in a minute, I could tell. It's been said like the B2, the 89 car became the B2, and the 91 car became the B4, and you can kind of see that. But I was really surprised at like how close the 89 and the B2 are. And I noticed it more when I started building mine. But again, so that's one reason why I wanted to go. Like when I built Daniel's car, I was like, okay, we kind of build it how the manual says, basically how the turnbuckles fit, and try to stay kind of faithful to it. And when the only thing I didn't like was I didn't like how much droop the front end had, and I didn't like how tall the springs were, because there was like, as soon as you put springs on, there was a shitload of preload on them. So the first thing I did was put not a bunch of spacers in the front. I put a shitload in the back, because I had the 132 shafts instead of 102s. So, but I put spacers up in the front, and it ran to the truck springs, 10T springs. I think I put silvers on it. And he wanted me to, when we got there, Daniel wanted me to, since I built it, take it out, right? Take it out first. So, I ran it for a couple laps, but I'm trying to get my stuff done too. So I took it out for a couple laps, and I said, well, I didn't think it was all that bad. Like, and now adrenaline has, a good amount of grip. Um, Even like, I guess it was Friday, kind of late or early Friday afternoon practice. Yeah, I thought it was 75 again. I didn't think it was bad. I mean, it jumped a little nose heavy. So I said something about moving the battery to the back. But I also said about because I had a lot of steering, but I didn't know how much we wanted to really mess with it because he wasn't even like totally sure if he was actually going to race that car. It was more just get it on track and see how it is. So I had said, slide the battery back and put blue truck springs on the front. Just try and get more like pop off the jumps. And I didn't run it. I didn't drive it again after that. After I, said to try that. And every time I saw the car on the track, a couple other guys were driving it, and I didn't think it really looked all that bad. And so when Daniel was going to go to the Vegas race, I had said put some 1.5 hubs in the back, and I'm pretty sure I told him to put 30-degree caster blocks in the front too. Maybe not. But I know I told him to put the hubs on, but I don't think he got to it. So then we get out to Vegas and everyone's cars, loose as shit or too much steering, too much steering and not enough grip, right? Like on throttle and stuff. And I'm not sure what the spring rate is. It kind of felt like a truck silver to me. And I don't remember what truck silvers are. Is that like a 375? I think. I mean, the springs are black, but I mean, it's definitely stiffer than black. I left the kit springs on the back. Those are black too, but I don't really think they seem stiffer than a buggy black, like a I think a buggy black is that a 190, and I think the green rears are a 210. I think. But anyway, they seem a little stiffer. They almost kind of felt like a green. So I was like, we'll just leave the kit ones on the back. But the front ones are just way too tall. So I put truck silvers on the front. And yeah, so then we ran it and I told them to slide the battery back. There's 10 rest of them. And put the blue springs on the front because they're a little stiffer. It'll get a little pop out of the nose on the jumps. Like I said, it didn't really seem like it was too bad. But then Vegas, it seemed like everyone was just kind of fighting it and like working on it. And we were trying to give him advice. We had like a messenger thing or like a messenger group, and we're trying to give him advice. Oh, there's that prompt. Wait an hour. Okay, we should be good now. At least we know it'll give me a prompt. So I said, did you put 1.5 hubs on? And he said no. So I don't think he had any, so he was kind of stuck there. And then he was saying that he has so much steering. He had a shitload of steering entering, and the car was just like looping out. And I said something about putting some 30-degree caster blocks on, but I don't know if he did that there or not. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think the car, anything can be made to work. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it. And it's like me personally, uh, I would have never taken that car to Vegas because there was going to be a shitload of people there. You don't know how much time you're going to get on track. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a tire game, really, anyway. But if you go there with an RC10, like a stock RC10, that you kind of know inside and out, and yeah, I mean if you're in the associated, you have an RC10 that works for you. You know what I mean? It's like the car you can kind of take anywhere, and you don't got to do a whole lot of changes to maybe just screw around at ride heights or something like that. But you don't got to mess with it to get it to work or to be happy with it. So if I was going to Vegas, there's no way in hell I would have taken that car. I'd have taken an RC10 or something that I was, familiar with, or like I already had a good setup. Because that way, all you gotta do is play with tires at that point. And there was a lot of that too. So I mean, I guess it was a good thing. Guys took their cars there and messed with them. But I'm sure a lot of them would have rather they just had a stock, world's car or a team car or something. But that car might end up just being, one of those kind of cars that it works on this track, but it doesn't work on another. Traveling Travis. I said this, and with mine, it's like I kind of want to use it just to try it, but at the same time, it's like, how much shit do I need on track? I already got so much stuff that I could just put a battery in and run. So do I really need to run that one? I don't know. I probably will. There's two of them. Let me get one. Oh, Todd again. Where's he? Well, that's what I said to him when, Logier's totaling up, keeping track of all the, the donations coming in and stuff. And, you see how much Todd had donated on, what day was it? I think it was Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday. I sent him a text message, and I was like, dude, you could, at this point, you could have just, or with, again, I was like, with how much you donated, you could have just bought your own kit. He's like, I know, but it wouldn't be helping the board out doing that. So, and it's like, at that point, it's like, it's almost a shame if he doesn't win, but it's a waffle. You never know. Limestang. I know one of the, I think it was the when we did the Joel Johnson Ultima waffle. I think it was that one. I don't remember who won it, but he had only bought one, or like donated $5, and other guys had donated 100. 6 dub. So let's come to the end. There's only 4 more. Todd. Three more. Up to him. Where's he again? Yep. 2 more. Okay. Start again. All right. Last one. I'll mix them up even more. I got one. Todd. He went big and he won it. Congrats to Todd. Ooh. Yep, that was 50. There's all the Star got it. Yeah, big thanks to everyone that donated to this. And Jeff. Jeff gave us the kit, so that was awesome of him. And yeah. So I'll have to figure out see what else comes along to do another one in a couple months or whatever. I'm having some stickers done, which reminds me I got to call him. So it's been so long since we had RC10Talk stickers. So I'm not getting a whole bunch of them right off the bat, but and I need to talk to someone. I'll probably call him next week because 2006 our 20th anniversary for RC10Talk. So I'd really like to get some T-shirts and shit made. So I got some info on a place to get some shirts and stuff made. So we'll see how that works out. I think it's probably going to be one of the kind that, we're not going to, I don't want to have to worry about like shipping and stuff. So I think it's going to be one of those where, they handle all that and then we just get, like a, word for it. Those are like residuals. and then all that'll go to the board too. What would have been really nice is when A-Main on, what was it, Friday? Well, Cyber, or Black Friday, or that weekend when they were having some good deals on, I think, some of the Masami kits and the Clifflight kits. Like even one of the Yokomo kits, or both the Yokomo kits. It would have been nice to have been able to, like, had the money in the, petty cash, if you want to call it that, to grab one of those while they were cheap to have for future waffles. But we'll see. We'll find something. What's everyone working on? Or what kind of stuff's everyone working on? I haven't been doing much. Oh, I have been, but not like a ton of stuff. I was working on that, putting that Vegas kit together, and so I noticed that the holes are a little off on the nose plate, so that was crooked. So that car would be done if it wasn't for that. So he's kind of waiting. See you later. Kind of waiting on if we can get a new nose plate for that, and that'll be done. He's got to paint a body and trim it and stuff. And I started on graphite kit for Daniel for Heritage class, the 21.5 Heritage class. It comes with 15-degree gouger blocks. We're going to get 30s for it. Or 25s we're going to put on it. I should just do a video of it, probably. Just put it up. It's probably going to sit for a little bit. Daniel's getting some parts together, and I don't think he's not going to North Carolina. It seems the car doesn't need to get done anytime soon. So, but yeah, putting the RC10 to 4-wheel drive ball cups and stuff on it with the 5.5 ball studs. Just beefing it up, making it the J Concepts steering bell crank. Just making it so, ball cups aren't popping off and that kind of stuff. So, but it'll still have the kit gold shocks and all that stuff on it. Yeah, I was talking about my stealth car earlier. That one's held up for a little bit. Just till I get the arms, my rear arms back from Joe after he's done modifying them. I still gotta get some kind of Yokomo. I honestly don't really want one for off-road. I want to make one. I want to do it up like like an old dirt oval, like a late model, with a wedge body with the Lexan side dam and stuff on it. That's kind of what I want to do with one. Just make it more like, Dominator-esque. Run the skinny front yoke wheels all the way around with slicks on it. At least for the indoor track that's close to me. Just something to screw around with. I'm not really interested in racing four-wheel drive off-road at all for whatever reason. Other than just a couple of pictures, like spy shots that Jose was posting, I haven't really seen anything else of it. Just like pictures of the back. So unless something else popped up since I've been on stream. I think they run slicks outdoor on that oval by me too. Like obviously the indoor track, you run slicks, high bike clay, but I think they run out there. It'll like go towards a slick tire on the outdoor track too. Yeah, I think I saw you posted that. Sometimes I regret not buying because the Double X really seemed to be the car to have for 4-wheel drive up until more of these Yokomos have started coming around. But not that you could get Double X's or Double X4s cheap, but you could get them, pretty decent cars at reasonable prices. 15 years ago. And in a way, I kind of regret not buying one back then, but I probably would have sold it anyway because I don't really care. I don't really care about running 4-wheel drive at all. Yeah, a lot of places are going to start running. It's cool now, right? It's cool to run vintage now because you can just go buy kits and put them together and race. Yeah, vintage racing's easy now. You don't even have to really want to do it. Yeah, there's going to be. I mean, like I said, it's good. I just have my feelings on some stuff. But yeah, that's why I do the Ten4.1 races at Insanity just because there are guys that have the stuff that want to race. But I said you gotta some areas are better than others, and it seemed like the East Coast and the Midwest were really where a lot of the vintage interest was. And once we pulled out or moved, we haven't really drawn. I wouldn't say we've really drawn a lot of the guys from the guys that would run at Vintage Nats when we were in Connecticut or Massachusetts. We really haven't. I kind of figured, we'd see more of those guys at Insanity. Just because they probably still have their stuff and would want to race, but they're not really interested in driving to Virginia now to go to the Vintage Nats. But there's been a couple like new faces to me that showed up at Insanity, and that's awesome. So I mean, honestly, for what it is, and what I'm trying to do there, we get a pretty decent car count, I think. You know, and a lot of the local guys, especially with the new kits, the availability of these new kits. A lot of the local guys have uh, got on board and got into it also. So, and that helps because like if you don't have the guys on the local level to that track, you can't expect everyone to just be flying in and coming from 5-6 years or 5-6 hours away for a 1 day race. It's not going to happen. You got to have a good, a decent core group of guys. And I'm pretty happy with the amount of guys that we get for a 1 day show in Insanity. Yeah, it'd be cool to have more. It's always cool to have more. But I'm pretty happy. We're not investing like a whole bunch of. Uh, it's basically like like a trophy race on a club level. We get trophies and uh, do three of them. Try to do three of them. I'm gonna try to continue to do three of them. I had almost thought because it sounds like what's his name, Cam. Cam was running his own like 5 race series there, and it'd be like May, June, July, yeah, August and September. And so I was kind of working the vintage races around his stuff. And I think he got married or he's getting married, and they're talking about starting a family and stuff. So I guess he had said something to the owner about maybe taking the year off. So I had actually thought about maybe doing like a whole series with like so it'd be like April through October, not having any like the big races or no like trophy races, but mainly just do like a point series and maybe do like because what would that be? How many races would it be? April, May, June, July, August, 7. So if you did like be 7 races, you do like 2 drop weeks or 2 drop races. So like your 5 best races go toward your points total, and then just do the trophies at the end for the October race. So I thought about doing something like that, but sometimes it's just too much. So we're just gonna stick with the 3. We'll do the Palooza, the Vintage Shootout, and the Fall Brawl. Yeah, and then the J Concepts race, at least for me, uh, will fall at Adrenaline will fall in between the Palooza race and the Vintage Shootout, so that'll be good. And then the Vintage Nats is in September, and then whatever else whatever other big races are up. But I'm definitely not making it to the one in North Carolina next month. Just it wasn't going to happen, so I just said, screw it, put it out of my mind because it's going to bug me because I like racing her. The clay is awesome. My problem is I'm not a Kyosho guy. I won't buy a Kyosho. I would sooner not race 4-wheel drive than buy a Kyosho. I have one. I have a Kyosho. But I also have a bunch of associated stuff on it, like trans and trans and shocks and custom work steering bell crank, Andy's front arms. Now, if a couple of times I had thought about getting a four-wheel drive just because the four-wheel drive class was always um like light on entries, even like the vintage Nats and that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, if I got a four-wheel drive, even if I didn't get like crazy with it, where I'm, trying to get on the podium and all that stuff, but just run just to get the car help get the car count up. I would do that. But and I even thought about it again for the races I put on it at Insanity, but it's like I'm just not really interested in four wheel drive at all. I mean, I have my Man Array that I run in Classic, but just, yeah, just I don't know. The four wheel drive stuff doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I know it's. I mean, I don't think anything's more popular than two wheel drive, but um, it's four wheel drive is becoming more popular now, like on the vintage level, because so much. You got how many Schumacher kits are available now? How many Kyosho kits, the Yokomo kits, and you got all these guys uh, making their pro mod uh, Yokomo kits and shit. So you can see why there's more interest in four wheel drive now than there was, say, 3-4 years ago. Where it was like, you're at the vintage Nats, and there's like barely enough for a full main four wheel drive. And that's where I was thinking, well, maybe I'll, you know, if I could find a decent double X4, I would do that, or, but it's like, nah. But now with everything, it's easy to do vintage now. There's nothing hard about getting into vintage now. So that's why it's so many more tracks are adding classes, or you're seeing a lot more races pop up and stuff like that, which is good. Just some things I don't like about it, or that are how some things are going. And that was one reason why I added the Y2K classes to our races, um, to try and get the local guys interested. Because you can go from anywhere, like, from 2000, but let's say 98 to now. So like if a guy races, uh, somebody has a tracksless rustler or something, they can run it. It's a new one. I mean, they had vintage ones too, but you know what I mean. Like if somebody had one, someone uh, their kid has one or whatever, let's put a 17.5 on it, they can run it. But a lot of guys have triple X's in the triple XTs in the closet, uh, B5s, T4s, and uh, so I figure those would be good classes to get the local guys at least to the event. But a lot of them, with all their new kits, the vintage kits, they're buying RC10s and 10Ts and getting into it. It also gives me the ability to run more trucks and more bogies. Because I'll run like, because I finished on my 10T, so I'll run my 10T in stadium truck, and I'll run my T3 in the Y2K. Then I'll run my B2 or something in two-wheel drive. Then I'll run my B3, or I got an RB10 and a long arm B3 that I built. Yeah, I'll run those in Y2K also. So I can run 4 classes, because we have 5 classes with the 4-wheel drive, but I don't got any 4-wheel drives, so still get to run 4 classes. That's the one nice thing with the Y2K, or adding the Y2K. Yeah, I get that. It's a Ford Chevy thing. That's really what it is. Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough with the AE stuff, with all this round of release kits, and all the re-release ones from 2013, 2014. You know, used to the original kits is like the total opposite. The original associated kits, you had to ream the holes out so the hinge pins fit nice and everything. You know what I mean? There was no drag on any of the parts. Everything was all nice and free. And now all these new kits, you got to run set screws and all the arm mounts and shit, so the hinge pins are wobbling around and everything else. It's like, the hell, you know? So the old cars where you had to loosen them up, and the new ones you got to tighten up. It's like jump the shark. And I think that's the biggest reason I rather two-wheel drives, because I like throwing a car around, and that's why I hate glue tracks. That's why I hate carpet. You know, I want a car. You know, I like being able to throw a car around and have fun with it, and I don't get to do that on carpet and glue tracks, so I don't like it. Even like tracks that are high bite, that like aren't glued or aren't sealed, and you're still on slicks. There's still that um, there's still that feel of stepping over the edge. You know, the glue track stepping over the edge is not cartwheel or rolling, going through a corner, traction rolling. I just don't like that. It's not my deal. Carpet for me is foam tire pan car. That's carpet for me, or carpet racing for me. If I could get like a yoke, I mean, you never know. You never know what'll come through here sometime or whatever. But if I could get a decent yoke, like an 870C or a YZ10, something to run like the classic 4-wheel drive class, like 13.5, I would probably do that. But I just don't really I don't know. I just don't have the interest in it. I'd rather make it. I'd sooner make it an oval car, honestly. Even though there's no class for it, I'd rather just build it up as an oval car and take it to the track and rip it around. But I like two-wheel drive. It's definitely my favorite. Even if I'm not great at it all the time, well, I'm not great at it. Anytime I'm all right. A stadium truck can be fun. I guess it's all fun when you're fast. If you're struggling, then is nothing's really fun. But even if I'm struggling, I I like two-wheel drive because I like just being able to throw the cars around and that kind of shit. I know it's definitely a good thing. Uh, it's definitely a good thing AE had that race because the West Coast definitely needed a big vintage race. Um, you know the BK race. Yeah, it's cool and all. They added a vintage class to it, but I don't know. It was like just two-wheel drive, and then I believe like maybe 2 years in they added a truck class or something. Um, but yeah, it's not the same as actually having a vintage race. Uh, but now I think I was hearing talk that they might try and make the BK race like a big vintage race or like a vintage only race. So we'll see. But I mean, it's about time that shit starts happening vintage wise on the West Coast because for years since the first vintage Nats in 2008, guys have been saying we need something like this on the West Coast, and nobody wanted to do it. And I guess Eric tried a couple times talking to guys out there. I know Jesse Granite tried getting one. I don't remember what it was like. Roadrunner. But it was like right around like COVID. Kind of what happened like to my Ten4.1 races at Critters. We were trying to get one because we had run March of 2019 was the first one, and I was going to do another one like same time, like end of March. And we were it was kind of going to be like throw together, like kind of last minute kind of deal. But then COVID happened, and then everything got shut down, and so it never we couldn't do anything with it. And once we just never went back there, basically. And then when I found Insanity, I was like, well, this is like the perfect track for vintage racing. Uh, so that's why I've been trying to do races there. Um, but I think the one that Jesse was trying to put on, I think the track ended up going out of business. I think Roadrunner sounds like the right name. I could be wrong, but I know it COVID happened, and so that screwed his race. And then I think the track went out of business. So, but the Midwest has been pretty good for a few years with vintage stuff. So, But like I said, all these new kits make it so much easier for people to get in it or to be able to do it. You don't even necessarily need to be in the vintage. That's a little bit of my problem with it. But that's just me. Well, it's almost an hour and a half, and my nose won't stop running. Like not last week, but the week before, I was like basically I was sick as a dog. I was home like all week, and I thought I was past it, but apparently not. Ugh, man. So, well, you got some time unless you're planning on going somewhere soon. Because then I really wanted to go to the North Carolina race, but I like the surface there. It reminds me of all the uh, foam tire oval racing I did back in the day. I know the North Carolina race is out of pit spots. So I don't know how many more entries are taken. So if you're not signed up by now, or I've talked to them about pit spot, you're probably not going to get any. Filled up pretty quick. I had said they should not, if they didn't extend the off-road track onto the oval, which I don't really think it's necessary to do that. We don't need um, 100-foot long or 150-foot long vintage RC tracks. The one that they race on, club racing would be fine. So I'd say they should just leave the track alone and we could pit on the oval. But I don't think they wanted to do that, I guess. Chassis number 10. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I think I remember you posted a picture of that. Well, how's this? I'm not planning on racing mine. So I'll give you my tub that's 14 something, 1400 something. And then I'll take your 10 because I don't plan on running mine. It's not that slow. All you do is put a shitload of motor in vintage cars. All you're gonna do is tear shit up. So there's really no reason to do it. And honestly, the best racing you're going to see is with slower cars. I mean, there's talk about trying to slow them up even more. Like, guys want to see, like, it's been 17.5 since the beginning of vintage racing in the U.S. It's been 27 turn stock motors or 17.5 for two-wheel drive, stadium truck. Four-wheel drive was always like 13.5, 10.5. And yeah, I mean, 17.5 is fast. Because you got to remember, not everybody races all the time. You know, they're just out there running their cars. But yeah, but they're even the guys that are fast, sponsor guys, pro level guys are saying that the cars for vintage racing, the cars are too fast because they keep making the motors faster, or the electronics keep getting faster, which automatically make the cars faster. So, you know, at some point, the biggest problem is kind of like other things. Everybody has 17.5s because that's what we've been racing for years. So to go and say, well, now we're all going to run 21.5. Now everyone's going to have to go get 21.5s. It's not really going to happen, I don't think. But and summary, like the vintage nats, it's not even blinky. You can run boost and everything else 17.5. So in all the classes, not just that. So if you're running 4-wheel drive and you have a 10.5, it's you got to have a 10.5, but you can boost it and everything else. So yeah, like I ran the first time I ran 21.5 was at the Hoosier race back in March with my BC3. And I ran a 21.5 independent. And I was surprised how quick, like, I know we've been running the heritage classes or the heritage class for 21.5s, but I don't race that because I'm too lazy to get my car done. But they always seem pretty quick. And when I ran my race out there, I was like, these cars getting around felt like just as fast as my 17.5 was. But yeah, I understand your 7.5 was fine, but that's you. As I said, not everybody runs every week. They might just run certain races and you just want to run their car. But you can't be running a 7.5 and other guys are running 17.5 and then complain if they're in your way. That's the problem. Well, I know a lot of guys run like 8.5, like they'll be like, yeah, 8.5 is fine and stuff. And it probably is. You know, but I don't run mod because there's no reason to, because nowhere I race, all I race is vintage. I don't run any modern stuff. So I don't have anything. I don't have anything bigger than what I need. So, I mean, I have like an 8.0, I think, or an 8.5, but I don't put it in anything because it, you know. Now, a stealth's going to handle an 8.5 fine. I don't know if I'd run an 8.5 in a 6 gear, me personally, just because there's no clutch on it. But I know guys do, and it's fine. So, I mean, I get that. I get it'll handle it. It's more the broad scope of the racing itself. Yeah, like I said, I know you can do it. It's just it's all about promoting good racing. Not everybody can handle a 7.5. You know what I mean? But if you can handle a 7.5, you can obviously handle a 17.5. You're basically trying to mimic what the cars were doing 30 years ago. And, I mean, a 10 double or a 10 triple back then on a 6 cell, SCRC pack. God, it's been so long since I ran anything like that to even like kind of remember. But I mean, 17.5 is quick. When you're comparing to that, a 17.5 is fast. And then the amount of power you have throughout being like, back then, you could tell like after 30 seconds or a minute, you were already starting to, your batteries weren't as good and you could feel it just going away throughout the whole rest of the race. You don't have that these days. Well, 10.5 4-wheel drive is standard. It's the classic 4-wheel drive classes that are like 13.5. For my races, I make it 13.5 across the board just because I'm not going to get enough guys to separate two 4-wheel drive classes. We're lucky if we have enough for one. We're lucky if we have more than a handful of 4-wheel drive cars. So it's easier to just put 13.5s in it and just run it. It's all in what just makes more sense. But there's nothing wrong. If anything, stadium truck can be 13.5, but 2-wheel drive should stay 17.5 to me. But like I know, I think and that's the other thing. It's like there's so many different. Everybody wants to do things different. Everyone hosting a track or hosting a race wants to do things different. Like for me, I just want to do 17 blanket across the board in everything except for 4-wheel drive at my races. The vintage Nats, 4-wheel drives 10.5, classic 4-wheel drives 13.5. Everything else is 17.5. But the electronics are open, so you can boost and everything else. North Carolina race, pretty sure it's 10.5, 13.5, like the vintage Nats. But the Y2K, I think they call it the rear motor revival. So anything like a 98 and newer stadium truck and 2-wheel drive run 13.5. At the Hoosier race, all the 2-wheel drive classes, the vintage 2-wheel drive classes, were 17.5. All stadium trucks were 13.5. And at the Vegas race, it was kind of open up to, I think 10.5, I think was the limit on like all the classes across the board, I think. Maybe 2-wheel drive was 2-wheel drive capped at 13.5? I kind of feel like everything was like 10.5 was like the max. But a lot of guys were running 17.5 because there was such little grip. I thought it was getting better, man, but now it's like, man, my fucking nose is like totally blocked. I'd rather be blocked than running. But I mean, I've run my cars on carpet. I don't like racing on carpet to begin with, other than my pay cars. That's it for me. But I have run like put a car together to run on carpet. I didn't race, but like there was a couple like I go to Trays Lanes or uh there was a track down in like South Jersey that I went to once or twice. They had a big like carpet uh track and I went down just to screw around. And it's I just can't I don't know, I just can't get into it. I think the I think it's because it rains so much there. That's why there's so much turf racing there. And they do a lot of like grass racing and stuff out there. I don't know. I don't really know like all the uh I don't know. I don't really see like tracks like we have here over there. And even if they are, they're like they got like that turf on it. But you don't see a lot of because I guess is you don't see a lot of dirt tracks because it rains so much. That's kind of my understanding. Uh, Trying to see why no natural what. Oh, I get. Never mind. You're asking about the turf. I mean, they do run like there's a lot of tracks that do run turf. You don't really see it outdoor. Like there's some outdoor tracks that are turf. Um, like uh, was RC Madness in Connecticut. I think J Concepts runs their turf mats there every year. I think it's September. Um, RCHR in Connecticut, they had a turf track. It used to be dirt. That was where the first vintage nats was. First couple vintage nats, and then they went to turf. So I mean, there is turf racing around in the U.S. You just don't really see it much outdoor. I wouldn't mind trying to race on turf because I haven't. I haven't even run on turf. Not even like screwing around. So I would like to try it sometime. I I had thought about going up to the J Concepts race a few years ago, but it was like it's within like 2 weeks. I think of the vintage Nats. It's just too close together. Yeah, I would assume. I guess it depends on how worn out the turf is too, like how much it's grooved up. And just like anything else, you gotta get the right tire too, or be on the right tire. years ago, I was going to put a track in my backyard, and I kind of did it more just to, it was more UK style, like grass style. So I just drop a deck on my mower and like cut it out. And, and I screwed around on it for a while, and I wanted to get a sod cutter and cut it out, and just uh, never did it. And then I just let it, let it grow back in. But now that uh, my grandsons are 7 and 5, I kind of thought, maybe I should do something about that again, and this time actually make it, you know, cut it out, make it dirt. Maybe not put pipes or anything in, but do it more like how Vegas was, right? Just use the grass as your borders. Uh, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, there's definitely uh, none of that on the east coast of PA. Because I love going to pit stop, and they started putting vegetable oil on it to use for traction. And now if it's like right, you can run slicks on it. So it's like, why the hell do I want to run slicks on an outdoor track? You know, I don't get it. I mean, I understand it. Yeah, okay, there's less track maintenance. The track doesn't break up, it doesn't go away, all that kind of stuff. But you're running slicks on an outdoor dirt track. So that kind of pissed me. It pissed me off. It just bugs me because that was really the only. I mean, they ran A scale there, or they run A scale there, but it's like it's one of those where it's big for a 10 scale and it's small for an A scale, but you can make it work with the A scale. Uh, but yeah, it's like I love just being able to go there and double D's on the back and ribs up front, but now it's just going to be a slicks and tire sauce game. Yeah, it's like you kind of do enough of that indoors. And that's another reason why I like Insanity. You don't got to dick with any of that. Just get a tire that works. It's most likely going to be double D's. Uh, earlier in the year, double D's seem to work better until the track really comes in. Um, and then sprinters or rehabs. I run rehabs there. Sometimes you can get to like the ellipse, like a bar tire. But sprinters are pretty much a good, kind of a pretty good across the board. They're going to work. Could something be a little bit better? Yeah, maybe. But sprinters are going to work. Well, it's almost 11. I think my wife has some wash she wants to finish up yet. So I'm going to hop off here. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Thanks again to Jeff for donating the kit. Thanks to everyone that donated to the board. And yeah. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out, too. We'll see you guys on the next one.